Hello my gorgeous beings and welcome back to the channel. Another day, another Mercia video. We are back with the final episode of our Aussian quest. Well, when it comes to decorating at least. Tiller will still continue recruiting villagers for this island on his channel since we do still need a couple dreamies to join our shenanigans. But for now, we will continue walking west and start working on the calm and charming world of Winkie land. Winkie is the home of the Tin Woodman, Jack Pumpkinhead, a forest inhabited by stuffed bears, and of course the now home of the Wicked Witch of the West, Elphaba. According to this map, it is also where Dorothy befriended the Cowardly Lion, which naturally we must include as well. This area is one of the smaller areas on the island, but nevertheless there is still plenty to build. So let's get started with our final quest on our wonderful land of Oz. Picking up where we left off in the last video, after placing the campsite, I skipped a day and started pathing down a cute picnic blanket before pathing down the rest of the area with this flowery yellow custom design. Nice. From there, I planted a couple shrubs and started decorating the area on this side of the river with a couple mushroom platforms, a well, topiaries, tents, and a couple seats like this bench, this mum stool, this froggy chair, and this bus stop. I dropped a couple more miscellaneous items before skipping a day, and I'm pretty happy with this area. Ta-da! Since this was done during the recording of the last video, this is where I ended for the day. So it's the next day, and now that Tiller's video is out, I can tell you that this is indeed Cephalobot's house, who is our reference to the Tin Man. I added an axe as a reference and picked up this hut to replace it with these metal bus stops, as it looks somewhat like tin, which could be a reference to the tin castle he gets in the books. After that, I crossed the river to get to the next area and began laying out where I wanted Elphaba's castle to be, starting with a couple walls until it looked like this. Very simple, but good enough for the space that we have, which isn't a lot. Anyway, I terraformed a small cliff right in the middle and placed down another tower before changing the front wall to a gate instead. It's small, but adorable. From there, I had to figure out what I was going to do with all the rest of this area. So I started by placing down Nook's Cranny here, since the building is mainly yellow, and skipped a day. Psst, Tucker, I need you to move out, please. Just a taste of yellow brick pathing before I decided to move to the bottom corner and terraform a cliff based on this area on the map. I planted a couple trees around the area and then felt the castle was a little too much forward, so I terraformed a cliff behind it so I could also raise up the entire build, and it's much better. Nice. I really wanted these stairs you see on the map to be reflected, so I extended the cliffs, planted some trees, grabbed a ramp, and well, never mind. The cliffs at the bottom needed some adjusting as well, so I could fit Teddy's house right on the edge, as that's where the bears live according to this map. Okay, I know I keep going back and forth, but I went back to the castle to place down the flower path underneath and planted a couple trees behind it, in front of it, and around the rest of the area before skipping a day so I could path the yellow road from Teddy's house until we had a nice road going. Then I decided to grab Wendy's house and place it behind the cliff of the castle in the hopes of Monty replacing her, who is our reference to the blue flying monkeys. I skipped several days until Wendy finally decided to move out. Bye! A couple more day skips and I invited Monty from Anono Island to join our Aussian shenanigans. So Monty is moving in, which brings us one villager closer to having all of our dreamies. Yay! We've made small progress so far, but there's still plenty to do. So after a short break, it was right back to figuring out what the rest of this area was going to become. I started by changing the path coming from Quad Link slightly, adding an archway and some trees to help the transition between the two areas. From there, I added vines to the castle cliffs to help the eerie vibes and transformed this small cliff from this to this as filler. I pathed some yellow flowers around Monty's house, dropped some decayed trees here, and a couple other miscellaneous items. Nice. I repeated that process here by planting trees and adding pathing around it before skipping a couple days to let the trees grow and stunting a couple of them. Then I once again asked Tom for a new lot and dropped it down in this corner for our Cowardly Lion. I noticed that the rocks here started spawning in a circle naturally, so I might do something with that later on. Before continuing with pathing the road, I wanted a nice way all 6 directions could come together, so I used this as my reference picture and started with the well, dug out where the shrubs would go, and added the stands, just like so. I ran out of shrubs, so I bought a couple more from Leaf before flying off to another Nono Island to invite Rex to our island as a reference to the Cowardly Lion. Yay! Once I got back, I planted the shrubs, added flowers to the stands, and started to path around all of it. I didn't love how square the shape was, but I skipped today so I could start pathing from Rex's house and brought all of the other paths close to the center as well. The shape was bothering me, so I rounded the corners inwards and it looks much better. From there, I brought down the road from resident services, the bridge, the castle, and all of the other areas until they all came together in a nice network of roads around the well. If we have a quick look at the map, you can see the true balance between every area. We have Quadling, Munchkin, Gillikin, and Winkie. In all honesty, looking at it this way, it's not too bad, but I might try to find a way to extend the red area just a tiny bit more. At this point, it was getting quite late for me, so that's where I ended for the day. See you tomorrow! It's the next day and the shrubs are in full bloom now. Oh, and I also changed the flowers to these lamps instead. Oops! I pathed down the yellow flowers in most of this area, so I just finished that process by continuing on the left until it was all done. Nice. As you can see, the rocks are still chilling here, and I saved a space to hopefully get another one to spawn to quote-unquote finish the circle. So I skipped a day or two until I was finally in the correct spot. But after planting a couple trees, something felt off about the rocks. So, like the silly girl that I am, I broke all of them except for one and left empty spaces for them to go instead, so it creates a proper rock circle. I'm not gonna lie, this took some time and a lot of time skipping to finally have them all in the right spots. Just like this. Looking at this now, I do wish I had moved the circle up a tad, but oh well. From there, I fixed the pathing around the trees, skipped a day to get rid of the rain, and added this glowy rock to the center of the circle for the vibes. I then went on a streak of placing down yellow foresty items such as mushroom lamps, mushroom seats, mum seats, big mushrooms, leaf stools, decayed trees, topiaries, pine trees, and many more decayed trees before adding in more green with vines, topiaries, and the area finally started to come together. I added some fixtures to Teddy's house and Nook's cranny before turning this filler cliff from this to this, and from there it was mainly this corner that was left to decorate, and the goal was to turn it into a cornfield like on this map with the help of these pro designs. But that was going to be a problem for a future Mircea, hehe. Oh wait, shit. The next day I started by planting a couple flowers around the area until we were back here. Dang it. Goal was to have a mix between these corn pro designs and these yellow flowers that kind of look like corn, if you squint. So I was just kind of haphazardly putting both in random spots until it somehow looked a little cohesive, like this. It's small, but it works and you get the idea. Hopefully. I gave this corner a little overhaul, added a cute fountain, and some other miscellaneous items next to Nook's cranny together with large tulips and standees. I made sure to use pumpkin seeds next to the house as an Easter egg to Jack, and topped it off with flowers. Nice. This filler cliff I kept very simple, and for this corner I chopped off one square of the cliff so a tree could grow, and added pathing, shrubs, flowers, and items. From there I cleaned up the cliff above, added pathing, and some items like this cauldron because I then skedaddled my little legs to Tom Nook to grab the final lot for Elphaba's house. Yay. This area is really coming alive now. Anyway, I once again flew to a Nono Island, this time for Opal, who is our reference to the Wicked Witch / Elphaba. Ugh, isn't she such a queen? When I got back, I naturally skipped a day and finished pathing around her house. I completely forgot about the area surrounding resident services, so I cleaned up the cliff behind it, pathed down green bricks, and decorated with a couple green items. From there, I followed a similar process below with some hedges, seeding, and a couple mushrooms to match with the cliffs. Nice. Then I thought it was super cute to color coordinate these leaf piles and use them in the yellow and red area respectively, as they don't come in blue or purple. Shame. But with that, the yellow area was pretty much done. I love how it all turned out, even if I wasn't able to fit in everything that I had in mind originally. You can see to the side here, I used the pumpkin scarecrow instead of the regular one, so Jack the pumpkin head is still technically included. Even though this meant Winkie Land was now finished, I was not quite done yet with the island. I made the last minute decision that I really wanted to extend Quadling just a little. So here we are, back in Munchkin. for now. Since this corner doesn't represent anything right now and is just plain filler, I wanted to turn it into something that does represent something since it directly connects to Quadling. And what was the one thing that was still missing from the Land of Oz island? Yes, I've read your cries of woe and you are absolutely right. So we're going to turn this little corner into a reference to the poppy field. I got rid of all of the items, replaced the path with the red one, and planted red flowers around the area in a similar fashion to the cornfield. One key thing to remember here is that this is meant to be a reference to the poppy field and not a copy, as I still wanted to match the style and vibe of the rest of the island. From here, I wanted the area to feel a little bit more full, so I dropped down this mushroom, this mum seat, this flower shower, another leaf pile, and some standees for that children's book vibe. Perfect. I skipped today to let the shrubs fully grow in, and I love how this turned out. It's not too flowery, but I had pretty limited space, so hopefully the idea still comes across. If you disagree, feel free to let me know in the comments. The final process was streamed, and when looking at the map, I realized I miscounted how many dreamies we had, and that I apparently completely forgot about Pashmina, and well, here's me realizing this. Tucker's house needs to be Scarecrow. We're missing the Good Witch, which is Penelope, obviously, but then who are you? We have the bear. Chad, did I miscount? Wait, 2, 4, 6. I miscounted! Oh no! This is the worst time to realize that. Oh, there's 9 on my list. And I have 10 villagers now. Oh my god, I'm a idiot. Okay, well, Filler is still going to be villager hunting for this island, so at some point she will probably be replaced with another blue villager like Sherp, Ione, Hopkins, or even a bird as a reference to Anyway, with that, the decorating side of the island is finally done. I started this island back in November, so it definitely has been a journey working on it. For those who are curious, the total recorded footage for this island is 73 hours. But let's say 75 for a couple small things I did while not recording, which calculates to roughly 3 days. So for anyone saying I didn't finish this island within 14 days, ha, sucker. I'm just kidding. I'm the kind of person who likes learning about stats like that, so if anyone else would like me to continue mentioning how long exactly an island takes, please let me know in the comments below. Now that I managed to actually squeeze in every landmark I really wanted to include on this island, I am so ecstatic about it. I love how this island turned out, and even though we weren't able to get every dreamy before finishing, that's okay. Sometimes things just don't go as planned and we just have to move on. The island is whimsical, colorful, while still being Oz. I'm proud of myself for all the builds I did and reference or Easter eggs I was able to include in our wonderful world of Oz. When it comes to the next project, I don't know yet. I'm currently looking for a full-time job, which means my time creating lavish islands might be cut a lot shorter soon. But fret not, as I'm not going anywhere and I will continue to create islands as long as I can. It might just take a little longer than usual between videos in the future. As I've mentioned before, Tiller will still continue to upload a couple more villager hunts for this island, so make sure you are subscribed to him to not miss a thing. I hope you've enjoyed coming along in this journey, and please feel free to like this video if you did. Thank you so much for all the love and support shown on this island. I truly can't thank you all enough for your patience as well. Just know that I am very grateful and I do read every single comment. And if you're new, make sure to subscribe to get the next Animal Crossing video in a notification box near you soon. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Goodbye!